10 minutes. T-minus 9 minutes. T-minus 8 minutes. T-minus 7 minutes. T-minus 6 minutes. T-minus 5 minutes. T-minus for minutes. T-minus 3 minutes. T-minus 2 minutes. T-minus 1 minute. Stand by.
How about that?
Well, it's a really big day, and it's a really big show. Welcome, everybody. Episode number 1771 of what we like to call Canada's daytime sports talk show. Gaining more and more viewers and listeners by the day. Streaming on Game Plus right now, going to air in Nevada in hour 2. Scruffy's going to be with me here in seconds. And a very big hour 2. Nothing against Scruffy, Mitch. Nothing against Mitch, but Marc Trestman's coming up in hour 2. He's got a new book out called Teaching the Game, forward by Tony Dungy. And Mark wrote me from Naples, Florida. He's like, Rod, can I get on to promote the book and talk ball with you? And it's pretty exciting, Mitch, as you know, when we go to air in Nevada. And he has 25 years in the NFL, 4 Grey Cups in the CFL in 7 years. Marc Trestman's the man. So I know you'll be tuned in hour 2, Mitch, when he joins us.
One of the nicest guys as well. By the way, are you paying homage to Danny Barrett today?
Yes. No, C.J. Stroud. I get it, though. I get
Okay.
That's with the Houston Texans. That's the inside from Scruffy. Okay, let's get rolling. Okay, Mitch, the big story, I don't know what it is for you, but I feel like it's the same for you as it is for everybody else. We talked about World Cup yesterday. American hopes for a deep World Cup run at home ended when Charles de Ketelaere scored twice and assisted on another goal, helping Belgium expose the U.S. defensive liabilities in a 4-1 win Monday night that earned a quarterfinal berth. USA's done. Canada's done. We can all forget about World Cup as far as I'm concerned, or maybe you're not. Where are you on this tournament now?
Oh, no. You've got how it gets fun. Because now you've got the best nations going up against one another after today's games. I don't think there's really any surprise to see, I guess if Argentina gets beat by today, that'll be a surprise. But France is there, Spain is there, England is there, Argentina probably there. This is now when you get at its best. And I hope Fat Donnie had a nice sleep last night, knowing his effort to try and get the soccer team into the group or into the round of 8 failed miserably. Sorry, Donnie.
Well,
and by the way,
he's
your
talking
US team last night, they looked like crap.
Scruffy said he's going to be cheering for Belgium last night. I think a lot of Canadians were cheering against USA, Belgium or otherwise. But, so here's what I thought. We had a team bonding event yesterday with the baseball team, the Moose Jaw Mullers, and 60% of the team's Americans, right? So the kids all wanted a vamoose to go watch the U.S. men's national. I feel like it's far bigger down there than it is in Canada. And I wasn't watching. I saw the score later, 4-1, Belgium routed them. So here's my thing on this. Again, I'm ready for it to be over, okay? I'm switching my attention to more CFL, more MLB, the All-Star games next week and I've enjoyed the coverage for a while, but I'm ready for it to be done. But my thing, when I saw the score, Mitch, I thought, the soccer gods got it. The soccer gods. As bad as USA impaled themselves, what I'm saying is it all turned out the way it was supposed to by USA losing. And that's the poll question today. Do you believe in sports gods? So far, 100% of the respondents saying yes. What are you voting on that?
Yeah, I think there's an element of karma that comes into it. I'm still not sure what a certain football team that calls Regina home did in 2009 to lose the Grey Cup the way they did. Maybe you can ask Marc Trestman if he had done something for karma on that an hour or two. But I think there's something to that, Rod.
Well, so far, 100% of our respondents for Country Thunder, by the way, which brings you the daily poll every day. Country Thunder this weekend, biggest party of the summer is in Craven, Saskatchewan this weekend. Still time to get your tickets at countrythunder.com/SK. For those that don't know, that's when the Riders impaled themselves in the Grey Cup in 2009. And it's funny, by the way, and I've talked with Mark many times over the years, and a lot of his staff. It's a bit of a sore subject. I guess you went there. It's a bit of a sore subject for Mark because he feels like they earned it. Not that the Riders screwed themselves, but the Alouettes earned it. Is that a fair? I could see why he would feel that way.
I can't agree with that statement.
Again, we got into the thing with the Brendan Sorsby yesterday. Yeah, we all have our own opinions. I don't necessarily agree with it either, but it's the reverse of Jesse Marsh, Team Canada's coach, saying, "Yeah, we lost 3-0 to Morocco on Saturday, but we were the better team." Okay, you saw him getting roasted, but John Cooper said that about Team Canada.
He said, "I'd rather be us than them." Well, I'd rather be still playing. And Morocco is, and Canada isn't. So I think I'd rather be Morocco because they're still playing. But you know what? Jesse Marsh does not keep his emotions to himself. He has his on his sleeve. And what he said after the game is what he said. And again, some people go, well, if you give athletes and coaches a 20-minute cooling off period, it wouldn't be like that. Well, sorry, it's not like that. So that's why we get some of the sound bites that we do.
Wouldn't that be something if they did? Yes. Anyways, the text line is open, 902-518-3033. We're going to be going to break shortly here in this opening segment. Get the YouTube chat. Either my YouTube chat's not working or folks are very quiet today. But you can text us as well, 902-518-3033. What I will tell you is, this is what I know in my other career, the recovery coaching field, that people tell themselves whatever they need to hear to make themselves feel better. If Jesse Marsh feels that they were the better team than Morocco and that makes you feel better, fine. Marc Trestman, I mean, he shouldn't care. He shouldn't care. They won the game. What do they have to apologize for? Nothing. Same as we talked about this yesterday, the Rough Riders 2007. We won the Grey Cup because Kevin Glenn broke his arm. They're not apologizing for anything. But again, people tell themselves a story to make themselves feel better. Usually that is a large thing. What else you got, Mitch? Oh, there we go. There we go. John Ohm, the first comment of the day. We should have an award for the first comment of the day. He says, sports gods? HELL hockey sticks. Yes. Yes. But we can go on and on and on. I mean, when John Cooper said it when they lost in Game 7 of Montreal, he said, I've had the hockey gods in my corner many nights. Tonight they were on theirs. I feel like this is like the most resounding vote, and I'm a little surprised. I'm a little surprised that it's this much. There you go. Producer Corey writing in. Let's hear from you, people. And we've got CFL coming up. We're going to talk a little bit about the Oilers goalies. Oh, and Vancouver sports radio station Sportsnet 650 going off the air today. I feel, Mitch, like you and I should talk about that a bit after the break. You have some thoughts?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay. Yeah. So we got a lot to get to. We'll be back in a moment. This is the opening segment. It's brought to you by our friends at, coincidentally, Vancouver's Uniglobe carefreetravel.ca, the official travel partner of the RP Show, and the CFL's BC Lions. We'll be right back on the RP Show.
Across America, Country Thunder Music Festivals bring you the biggest superstars. See unforgettable performances by Zach Top, Lainey Wilson, Brooks and Dunn, Keith Urban, Riley Green, the Red Clay Strays, Kane Brown, Gavin Adcock, and so many more. Join the party under the desert sky in Arizona, on the sandy shores of the Gulf in Florida, or in gorgeous Wisconsin Lake Country. It's the music you love, live and loud. Tickets, hotel, and camping info available at countrythunder.com.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge. Big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too. Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Across America, Country Thunder Music Festivals bring you the biggest superstars. See unforgettable performances by Zach Top, Lainey Wilson, Brooks and Dunn, Keith Urban, Riley Green, the Red Clay Strays, Kane Brown, Gavin Adcock, and so many more. Join the party under the desert sky in Arizona, on the sandy shores of the Gulf in Florida, or in gorgeous Wisconsin Lake Country. It's the music you love, live and loud. Tickets, hotel, and camping info available at countrythunder.com.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Ultimate Fan Zone, taking our show on the road coast to coast. Shop online, ultimatefanzone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away. ultimatefanzone.ca or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw, home of everything authentic.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection, booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
All right, it is the RP Show. Scruffy is with me, and we are brought to you in part by In the Warm-Up, Uniglobe Carefree Travel. When it comes to sports, trips, group travel, or your next great getaway, trust the pros who handle every detail so you can enjoy the journey. Contact Neil Chark with Uniglobe Carefree Travel today. Point two of the quick six, it is the Blue Jays. Helio Ramos homered twice and drove in 5 runs to back Landon Roop's first win in more than 2 months, and the San Francisco Giants beat the Blue Jays 10-1 on Monday night. It's nice to be able to sit down and watch the Blue Jays, and then more often than not, they suck. Mitch, I'm going to turn it over to the comments here a little bit, and here they are from the text line, 902-518-3033. Sean in Vernon, BC writes that he says Sportsnet 650 radio pulled off the air. That's like, I'm going to tell you right now, the Blue Jays suck. The World Cup I'm out on because Canada and the U.S. are done. We're going to get to the CFL. The biggest news across my timeline right now is Sportsnet 650 Vancouver, the last remaining all-sports station in Vancouver, going off the air today. And I sent it to you. Did you see it before I sent it to you?
I had seen it about 5 minutes before you sent it to me. I was actually going to send it to you. I know you had sent me a couple of other texts this morning. I was going to send it to you, but I was just going to at some point just sort of wait until closer to the show. The sports radio phenomenon, which I thought, and I think you thought 2 years ago, would be something that would be very beneficial. And it is in the U.S., but for whatever reason, it isn't in Canada. And I'm not really sure as to why. There are a lot of good people that have worked at sports radio stations across Canada, in Winnipeg, Edmonton. I have to think that Sportsnet 960 in Calgary is probably on life support now after hearing this news today, and we know there's a lot of good people that have worked there in the past. I don't know. Like it seems to me that it's TSN Toronto, and I forget the call numbers for that because obviously you see the Overdrive guys and the morning show with Korolnik and Kolyakovo and that, but it seems that they're like the last ones that are going to be standing. And I don't know why in this country why there isn't more sports radio, but that's a decision, I guess, that I just can't.
Yeah, and this is just one point of many that we're going to get to here today. I mean, I'll be honest, people lose their jobs every day in the world, every single day, and so I'm seeing this. Whenever media jobs get cut, whether it's a newspaper or a radio station shutting down or what have you, oh my God, everybody goes crazy. And I'm like, I'm just going to say it. I didn't see anybody from Vancouver calling me when I lost my job, so I'm not overly worked up about this. And I had lunch, I told you this last week, with a former CFL public relations director. How about that? I think you know who he is. And he said to me over lunch, he goes, do you miss working for a team or for a specific station? I said, no, not really. I kind of miss the security. And he goes, really? Are they secure? I'm like, say no more. You don't have to say any more, because I get it. These people are worried every single day for their jobs in those roles. So Vancouver Sports Radio, Rogers pulled the plug today. Everybody in Calgary today is looking over their shoulder thinking they're going to be next. And they probably will be. And that's a crappy way to live. So that's what this PR guy said. An award-winning public relations. Are they really secure? And that's working for teams too. So maybe it's a callous way for me to say it, but I've been through this. Scruffy's been through this. You have too. Right?
Oh yeah,
There's no security
you know what?
in that.
I feel for the people that lost their jobs today.
Yeah.
You and I have talked about this several times on this show. I've been asked by people, do you ever want to get back into the market? No, I don't. Because and I'll be honest, have there been a couple of opportunities that have been out there that I've spoken to? Yeah. But the media today is so much different than what it was, Roddy, when you and I were doing it. And not just in the sports media. No, I don't know if I'd want to go back.
Well, anyways, I'm ready to move on.
It would have to be on my terms, because we all know what it's like out there.
Well,
and I'm not
you and I know
names,
the game.
I think we both know.
Yeah. You and I know the score. The viewers don't, and there's no point talking. They're all starting to see now, finally, what it is. So, and then here's another one. Kirk from Toronto writes in, Western Dodge text line 902-518-3033. He says, Rogers now owns 100% of all pro sports teams in Toronto. Leafs, Blue Jays, Raptors, Argos, and Marlies. Cost $4.7 billion. How about that? Can I just say
have
this?
Have they not said, though, that they're going to divest some of that?
I don't care. I just want to watch the games, and I'm ready to move on. Are you okay? I don't care who owns the teams. I really don't, especially in Canada. I don't care.
Yeah, at the end of the day. Yeah, at the end of the day,
I don't care.
Who cares?
Yes. For that reason, I'm ready to move on, and I hope everybody else is too. Vancouver Eric writes, and he says, Western Canada has the RP show. Exactly. We still got to keep rolling on. Vancouver Eric says, I don't need Sportsnet 650. I've got the RP show. It's from Vancouver. We got Vancouver sponsors here, for the love of God. Uniglobe, Carefree Travel. Come here. I'll tell you right now, Sportsnet shuttering their radio stations. I will say this. Make it the meme. A great day for podcasters. Period. And for those that do it, you'd better be good. Joe Lazzato is watching in New York, and he writes in, he says, hockey gods are real and can be cruel. He says, I laughed at the Rangers for passing on Chase Reed at the draft, and then the hockey gods smiled by having the Islanders pass on the player I wanted. Cruel indeed. Whatever they are, whether it's a puck bounce or the soccer game last night, it's like 100% of our viewers agreeing that, yes, hockey, sports, soccer, football gods, baseball gods all exist.
If that's the case, who the hell did we anger by giving Gavin McKenna to Toronto?
Who did the kid anger?
Right. What? Like, is this sort of like your punishment for what happened protecting Mum at Penn State? Like,
I'll tell you what's
kid,
hilarious.
we know you did the right thing, but you shouldn't have. So, yeah, go to Toronto now and become Mitch Marner.
What's hilarious is all those 72 Leafs jerseys that were printed off with McKenna across the top. Then they go and sign Bob. Hello. Rest in peace to those who spent $300 on a Leafs McKenna jersey.
And now they
think
they should get their money back. Get stuffed.
What a maroon. Point 3. The Hamilton Tiger Cats said star quarterback Bo Levi Mitchell underwent successful ankle surgery Monday morning and is expected to make a full recovery. But there was no mention regarding how long Bo Levi will be out, if he'll return this season or whether the injury is season-ending. Hamilton has yet to officially place Mitchell on the 6-game injured list, but is expected to do so this week. Listen, That's just that. We said it yesterday. We'll say it again today. It's just a horrible break, pardon the pun, for the Canadian Football League. Hamilton's fortunes went off a cliff here. I don't think any of us think Trey Ford's going to be able to get it done for them. By the way, we're not getting out of here without your Week 6 picks, Mitch. I know it's easy early in the week, but have you done any more investigating as to who's going to save the Hamilton season, or maybe you think it's Trey Ford? I get the sense you don't think it's Trey Ford.
I wouldn't be surprised if you see, and it's going to cost Hamilton a price. I would not be surprised if you see the Hamilton Tiger Cats get Dustin Crum from the Montreal Alouettes.
A Crum back.
A Crum back.
Is he that much better than what they have?
Well,
for reals?
What is out there, Rod?
No, you said it. Not much. We talked about this.
Jeremiah Masoli?
Holy moly! Here comes Masoli.
Like, what else is out there?
Oh, you know, Mitch, be honest.
Off a neg list that doesn't know the Canadian game, how long is it going to take them to get used to it?
Do you think Trey Ford's ever going to get it, or was Chris Jones right? Nobody will admit that maybe Chris Jones was right. This guy's not a number one.
I do not see a day where Trey Ford is going to be a number one quarterback in the CFL. He was given ample opportunity to do that in Edmonton, and he failed. I've talked to people in Edmonton about Trey Ford and his approach to the game. He's now given, he was given another opportunity. Yes, I realize that, when a quarterback gets hurt, the backup usually doesn't come in and light it up. Nope. I think, Rod, that Trey Ford is probably playing for his CFL career on Sunday afternoon at Mosaic Stadium. Do I think that Trey Ford is going to come in here and throw for 350 yards and 3 touchdowns and Hamilton's going to win? No. Will he make some plays because of his legs? Yes. But, sorry, we've seen a lot of quarterbacks. Like, Trey Ford's not Lamar Jackson, kids.
What's Lamar Jackson won lately? Other than
Robert Griffin.
He's not Lamar Jackson. No. By the way, for those that joined us late, settle in, get yourself comfy. We talked about the World Cup and whether we're still going to be following it or not. Scruffy is. I'm not. That's our right. Talked about the Blue Jays sucking. We talked about Vancouver Sportsnet 650 radio going off the air. And I also said that Marc Trestman will be with us an hour too. And I don't know how it came up, but something you'd said, it triggered me to say that Marc Trestman, it bothers him that people think that they didn't earn the 2009 Grey Cup, that the Riders blew it. And Larry is watching in medicine hat, and he says the Riders were 16 points ahead halfway through the fourth quarter. Montreal earned it. My thing is, who legitimately cares? Who cares? You won. But I remember standing on the sidelines with Steve Mazurek and Gaynor the Gopher. As the clock turned from the end of the third to the fourth quarter, me and Gaynor were jumping up and down, hugging each other. Maz didn't think the Riders had it in the bag, but I'm like, oh, they're not going to blow this. 16 points? Yet, and they did. Wayne in BC says, I also, yeah. Wayne in BC says, I also don't agree with Marc Trestman on that. The Riders made a big special teams mistake that cost the Riders the cup. But I'll say this, there's a lot of things, you think you know somebody. We don't really know anybody. Trestman, Mitch, when they made the CFL rule changes, I wanted to get him on right away. He's like, give me a month. He was so pissed off and he's still mad.
On what? On the
rule changes.
How many rule changes?
All of them, the current ones, yeah. So mad.
Okay.
And I was, so what I guess my point on that is, while Mark has a law degree from the University of Miami and all the things that he's done, he's still a football guy and a traditionalist to the core. So it's going to bother him if people think that they didn't earn that win in 2009 or that they're going to screw with this, what he called beautiful Canadian game. You know what I mean? As smart as you are, you still might be a little set in your ways and have things upset you. You know what I mean? And that's not stuff I'm going to bring up with Trestman, by the way, when he joins us in hour 2. He's got a new book out called Teaching the Game, forward by Tony Dungy and Steve Young. And Mark reached out. He watches this show in Naples, Florida every day, and he loves it. And, Marc Trestman's coming up in hour 2. But that's how this all came up, if people are wondering why we're talking about the 2009 Grey Cup. And Mark has told me that, and some of his staff has said it just sticks in his craw. 902-518-3033. I got to mention this from Vintage Sasko. He says, "Hi, Father Rodney and Mitch. Off topic, but were you at the world-famous Pasqua Barn Dominium last night? That is basically Sasky's Buckingham Palace. Jealous." Signed. I'll get to this once Scruffy adjourns, but we had a team building session with the baseball team, the Millers, at the stables. Nobody rode horses, Mitch, just so you know. Those horses, I was told, are worth $300,000. They're
really?
Equestrian show jump. Yes. They weren't letting any baseball players nor me near these horses at Freedom Stables yesterday.
Well, I was sort of disappointed. I didn't see a video of you with, on the horse, being the farm boy.
I kind of thought that we would dabble in that, but it didn't happen. The boys played pool and sang karaoke, and we had a fun team bonding session. Just nobody got on horses, and I feel like that might be the best decision for everybody. I'll tell more stories later. Scruffy returns with us right after this on the RP Show.
Ultimate Fan Zone, taking our show on the road coast to coast. Shop online, ultimatefanzone.ca. Slick, user-friendly, we built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away, ultimatefanzone.ca, or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw, home of everything authentic.
Across America, Country Thunder Music Festivals bring you the biggest superstars. See unforgettable performances by Zach Top, Lainey Wilson, Brooks and Dunn, Keith Urban, Riley Green, the Red Clay Strays, Kane Brown, Gavin Adcock, and so many more. Join the party under the desert sky in Arizona, on the sandy shores of the Gulf in Florida, or in gorgeous Wisconsin Lake Country. It's the music you love, live and loud. Tickets, hotel, and camping info available at countrythunder.com.
Dean, Brody, and the Recklaws teaming up for the Hometown Heroes Tour.
If there's work, you know I'm gonna work.
Live at Temple Garden Center, November 9th.
Can't blame nobody else. I can't help myself.
Two of Canada's biggest country acts. One stage, one unforgettable night on the Hometown Heroes Tour.
In the back rows and we know like the back of our hands.
Tickets on sale now at the Temple Garden Center box office or online at sasktix.ca.
Across America, Country Thunder Music Festivals bring you the biggest superstars. See unforgettable performances by Zach Top, Lainey Wilson, Brooks and Dunn, Keith Urban, Riley Green, the Red Clay Strays, Kane Brown, Gavin Adcock, and so many more. Join the party under the desert sky in Arizona, on the sandy shores of the Gulf in Florida, or in gorgeous Wisconsin Lake Country. It's the music you love, live and loud. Tickets, hotel, and camping info available at countrythunder.com.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
It's a Tuesday. Scruffy's with me when we talk hockey. It's brought to you by the Mad Greek Eatery. Are you craving the famous Greek ribs everybody's raving about? Get yours today at the Mad Greek Eatery. I had some last night. They're succulent. My Dale Mike came over and we had a wonderful time. And his beautiful wife, Joe. Get yours today at the Mad Greek Eatery downtown. Dine in, pick up, or order online at themadgreekeatery.com. We're going to be talking hockey
you can't
here
go
right away.
Wrong. You can't go wrong if you're looking for food in Moose Jaw and you go to the Mad Greek.
Well, we got a lot of great restaurants.
I saw somebody the other day, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not buying that. Because they may be the best outlet in Moose Jaw. And there are some, like Regina, there are a lot of good places to eat in Moose Jaw, but the Mad Greek's got to be right up there.
It's everybody's number one. I said, you guys pick. I like everywhere. And actually, Joe picked Mad Greek. Wait, I said, just happens to be a show sponsor. So,
well, you'll be buying me lunch from there one day before you go back to Florida.
Okay, I would be happy to.
Right.
I said we would. I'm not letting you out of here. Nice try wiggling out of here without making your Week 6 picks, Mitch. Are you ready? Ottawa at Edmonton Thursday in a rematch of the 2015 Grey Cup. Where have you gone, John Frenzy? Who you got? Ottawa at Edmonton.
I gotta go with Edmonton because Ottawa is just a tire fire. Ottawa will win at some point, but not in Edmonton.
Not this week. Okay. Toronto at Winnipeg on Friday. I don't think the Bombers have named a starting quarterback. Does it matter? Nope. I gotta take Toronto. Chad Kelly leading the league in passing.
At this point, I have to take Toronto, but Winnipeg is a much better team at home. So it could be one of those famous subject change picks. Right now, I'll take Toronto.
Okay. You're more than welcome to do that right up until kickoff. If the Argos defense plays like they did in the Stampede Bowl last week, it won't matter who's quarterbacking for Winnipeg, but I feel like they will have that fixed by this Friday. Saturday, Calgary at Montreal in a rematch of the 2008 Grey Cup. Men, we've got them right where we want them. Remember that famous speech by Huff? Calgary at Montreal.
I was there.
Were you there? I was not there. Who you got?
The Alouettes. As I said, Calgary's got to do a little bit more yet before I start taking them seriously. And I know they got 58 points last week. It's a Toronto team that's been flying across the country. But let's not forget that Seau gave up 37 last week. So I'm going to go with Davis Alexander and the Alouettes.
Sunday, 5 p.m. Mountain. In Canada's football capital, it is the Hamilton Tiger Cats at the Saskatchewan Roughriders in a rematch of the 1972 Grey Cup and 1989 and 2013. And the result's going to be the same as the last two Grey Cup battles, right? The green guys, the guys in the green hats will win.
Do we have to, this is when I'm picking, right? Like, we're not being told that we have to take the green guys?
Did we? I
was actually discussing that at Curry Field on the weekend. We were getting a good laugh at that. So
I was never told who to pick.
They don't win this one. If Trey Ford's starting, which he probably will, and the Riders don't win this one by 12 or more, we've got a problem, kids. And I don't know what the point spread is because I didn't look because I forgot that you were going to ask me today. But I would have to think the Riders are favored by more than 7. I'd be probably taking the Riders if they were favored by more than 11.5.
You're the new Thomas Arthur Shepard. Tom Shepard, you're going to pick the Riders every week. I can just do that.
Thanks.
Just do that.
What did I do to you?
All right. Lots. We don't have time. Okay. The Quick Six show topics for Uniglobe Carefree Travel. Number 1, World Cup. Number 2, Blue Jays suck. Number 3, CFL, Bo Levi and the picks. Number 4, what's up, boys? All the hockey players are here. New Edmonton Oilers goaltender Freddie Anderson doesn't expect to start as many games under coach Mike Babcock as he did when they were together in Toronto. Anderson reunites with Babs in Edmonton after signing a 1-year deal July 1. Fresh off a Stanley Cup with the Canes, Anderson predicts he'll be deployed in a rotation with Tristan Jarry and possibly the newly acquired Devin Levi. You're following the story. You started nodding as soon as I said it. Why wouldn't you play him 66 games?
Because Freddie Anderson's 36 years old. Freddie Anderson, much like a lot of other NHL goaltenders, just don't play that many games anymore. For whatever reason.
Good point. Very good point.
I think Freddie Anderson, if he stays healthy, and we know that he's had some injury problems, I would expect Freddie Anderson to probably play 40 games, between 40 and 45. And I'm not convinced, Rod, that Tristan Jarry is going to be the backup, because there are a lot of people in Edmonton excited about him, and he might be the guy to be the number one guy if Freddie gets hurt, and I think he starts. I wouldn't be surprised if Devin Levy starts the season as the number 2 goaltender in Edmonton.
No, me either, at all. But he barely played in Buffalo. Like, they still... Freddie Anderson is a legit number 1. You have your guy. Yep. I'd like to be thinking you're going to be playing him.
A few weeks ago that I thought Freddie Anderson would be a good fit in Edmonton.
Yeah. I think Bob would have been a good fit in Edmonton, but I don't think Toronto. I think Toronto had their eyes at $7 million. It's the most important position on the team. I'm sorry. I don't understand.
Roddy, I understand the process with, but like I said in my column on your website on Saturday, Bob's not getting any younger. He had his worst season, and the defense that he has in Toronto isn't much better than what he had in Florida. And I just think that people in Toronto have fallen in love with the resume, and they think that he's going to be that guy again. And I'm not 100% sure. And if you want to take it another way, people in Toronto now, they're saying the same thing with Kawhi Leonard. And now that DeMar DeRozan is a free agent, Raptors fans want them to sign him. This isn't 2016 anymore, kids.
It's 10 years ago, I know.
You can fall in love with
That's
the
hilarious.
resume, but just like Bobby Jurison ain't coming back to the Riders anytime soon. Because remember how we used to hear that all the time?
I know, but sitting there and trying to convince these people of that is, you might as well, as my mom would say, go pee in the wind. Because it's not gonna go anywhere, and it's probably gonna come right back on you. That was from my mom, who
I
knew.
think Sergei Bobrovsky improves the Leafs goaltending, but I don't think Sergei Bobrovsky is a guy that's going to get them to where they want to be.
Well, who knows? I got a kick out of this, though. The Leafs are always that team chasing. They're the copycats. I see these photos going around of Bobrovsky and Anthony Stolarz together. Oh, they won a cup together 2 years ago in Florida. That was 2 years ago. Like, you're just stealing, grab bagging. That was Carm's line. Just grab bagging. Never developing your own guys properly. And not necessarily that you have to. And by the way, that crease thing with Edmonton, Oiler fans should not be that worried, because look at I'll just say it, the grease fire that was the Vegas Golden Knights in their crease all year. Aiden Hill, Akira Schmid, Carter Hart, in and out. Like, they didn't know who they were going to start, really, until playoff time, and it worked out pretty well for them. So they'll, I think, figure it out along the way. What's up? Any last thoughts?
I do too, and they're a lot more stable at the position than what they have been. I saw somebody in Edmonton, I don't know who it was, saying that Freddie Anderson might be the best goaltender that Connor McDavid's ever had.
Yeah.
I'd have to go back and look, but I don't disagree.
Mike Smith.
Because maybe
Stuart
that
Skinner.
honor would have gone to Mike Smith. Mike Smith?
He did backstop the Arizona Coyotes to the Western Conference Final in 2012. Good goalie. But, yeah, I sit here sometimes and think how Jacob Markstrom's going to fare in Florida, at a deal compared to what they were paying Bob. It's just interesting, the merry-go-round. Everybody in South Florida fell in love with Daniil Tarasov. They called him Baby Bob. All of a sudden, he signs in Detroit. Bye. Welcome to sports in 2026.
Is that where he ended up?
Yeah, I just saw it yesterday, or else I wouldn't have known.
Okay.
I think it was 1.6
Because I know that they were talking
million.
about him in Edmonton, and then he just sort of fell off the radar. So
He's good, but let's put it this way: they didn't think he was the next Bob.
right.
Which, when they signed him, they thought maybe he was going to be. That's why they called him Baby Bob.
Yep.
Didn't happen. All right, Scruffy, this has been fantastic. Guess I'll see you Thursday.
Nothing. I'm gonna watch soccer. I've been watching soccer right now. Egypt leads Argentina 1-0. Argentina missed a penalty.
Enjoy.
We're good.
We'll be
See you
right back. We'll be right back, everybody.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote your rebel, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Okay, now, Scruffy's gone. Let's talk about him. No, I'm joking. It's just me and you the rest of the way. 902-518-3033. We got some great stuff here, and we got some really wonderful sponsors, too. I want to thank you. They keep us on the air every day. Not every show can say that. Sportsnet 650 pulling the plug today in Vancouver, the all-sports radio station. It sucks. It is what it is. Great day for podcasters. But you got to be good. Marc Trestman coming up an hour or two, brought to you by Prairie Panels. Are you building a shop, barn, rink, or commercial space? Prairie Panels provides high-quality insulated wall and roof panels designed for durability and energy efficiency. Visit prairiepanels.ca or call 306-985-0050. Prairie Panels writes on their Facebook almost every day how proud they are to work with us. So go give them a follow on the Facebook. That would help us out a great deal. Thank you. I'll continue this hour one, Canadian hour. Point one was World Cup. I'm not watching anymore with USA and Canada out. And don't at me. Don't say I'm not a good sportsman. I don't get mad at the people in South Florida, frankly, that say, when the Panthers and Lightning are done, I'm not following the rest of the Stanley Cup playoffs. I don't get it, but that's fine. There's just, I don't know why it is, but there's so much more options now. It's when the Blue Jays are out, I'm not paying attention. My teams are out of the World Cup. I'm out. But I will say this. Point one, World Cup. Point two, Blue Jays losing again. I watched them get bombed last night in San Francisco. I'm like, what am I watching this for? Turn it off. Point three, CFL, which we talked about a lot. Point four, the Oilers goalies, which we just did. And thank you, Kirby, from the Cats and Rats podcast out of Florida. He's watching. He goes, Bob talk. Gave the look emoji. Can I just say this about Bob? I am that codger. When it comes to goalies and specifically Bob, I am that narrow-minded guy that won't look at anything else. I looked up his stats because everybody says coming off his worst year ever. That's not wrong. But the stats don't say that he's faced the most shots last year that he ever has too. The goalie people know that. The Leafs clearly know that. Everybody's hanging it on Bob. You know what? It's just what it is. Starting over in Toronto. Bear with me. This mic is like the bane of my existence right now. But if that's the biggest problem in my life, I'm doing pretty good. Which reminds me, when I rattle off those Grey Cup rematches, when I say Ken's watching in Mississauga, he writes that he says, do you have all those Grey Cup matches memorized? I'm impressed. Bro, it ain't that hard. Especially as a guy that's worked in the CFL since 1991. I'd like to think that I can remember what the Grey Cup matchups have been going back to 1966. It's not that impressive. Talk about the people that are out saving lives every day. I'd rather do that than remember who played each other in the Grey Cup. Ted in Red Deer writes in, and he says, in a salary cap, Jerry has to start at least 40 games, doesn't he? Well, Mitch would say that you're right. You go into the season in a 50-50 split with Freddie Anderson as your number one. I don't think that's the way to go, but what do I know? Ted in Red Deer goes on to say, I remember 1972. Ian Sunter broke my ever so young heart. Yep, I'm that old. I was born in 1972, I'll just say. But I've gone back and watched the games. Yeah, I'm that dorky. Darren in Melfort writes in, he says, that's the CFL quarterback situation. We all pray to the football gods our teams doesn't get hurt because that usually is a season killer. It usually is, no doubt. And, of course, the teams that have two are ahead of the game, but that's also very rare. Vancouver Eric says says Trey Ford is a project. Not now. He's the number one now. And when they signed him, everybody was all excited. So now's your chance, Trey. Now's your chance. That's the good part. David, number two. And when you want the opportunity, the road to hell is paved with players who say they never got their opportunity. In all sports, at all levels. Here's your chance, Trey. Don't blow it. David, number two, writes that he says, Scruffy says the Bombers are a much better team at home. Not true so far this year. They're 0-2 at home and 2-0 on the road. Hopefully they break that trend against the Argos. Well, we both took Toronto to win. Chad Kelly leading the CF of L in passing. Friday Night Football is going to be a beauty. Oh, I said that we were in the Canadian hour. Not like we're not talking about Canadian sports here, but I had something. Point one, World Cup. Point two, Blue Jays. Point three, CFL. Point four, Oilers goalies. Point five is this, because I don't know that I'll mention it in the U.S. hour. Canada's 3-0 loss to Morocco in the round of 16 drew the largest television audience ever for a Canadian FIFA World Cup match, Bell Media said. The broadcaster, citing ratings data, said the game averaged 5.4 million viewers across TSN, RDS, CTV, Nuvo, and Crave, making it the largest non-final World Cup broadcast on record. Ding! They're doing it in Canada, too. It's the most watched round one of the NFL draft ever. Everything's the most ever. Yeah, how come they're firing everybody? Bell said 11.7 million Canadians watched at least part of Saturday's match, with the audience peaking at 7.3 million viewers as Canada searched for a late goal. Are you all noticing how this thing just slides as the hour goes along? Maybe it's, these things are expensive and a real pain in the ass to travel with, too, by the way. 902-518-3033 is the Western Dodge text line. Drive with confidence. Shop Western Dodge. Financing, selection, and service you can count on. Oh, my God, this is great, Kirk. Yeah, woo. Do. Universe here. Woo-woo stuff. Kirk from Toronto writes in, he says, hey, Rod, they mentioned the Saskatoon Berries on the Blue Jays broadcast last night. They even displayed their jersey. How about that? Well, I missed that part of the Jays broadcast last night because I did tune in, but with a WCBL segue here, I was talking to my advisor, Lisa, this morning in Florida. She's like, how's it going up there? I said, it's going great. People are finally understanding why I've done the things that I've done for the longest time. That's why he loves this WCBL so much. I.e., it's something to do. It's something to do. I've raised my kids. I'm looking for things to do. So broadcasting these baseball games on Flow College is a hell of a lot of fun. But getting to know the players and the families is even more fun, and I'll get to you guys' comments in a second. But yesterday we had this team bonding session at a stables, Freedom Stables. I thought it was a ranch. It's not. I didn't even really know where I was going, but I punched it into my phone. I'm like, oh, this is the place? I said to the owners, I'm from here. I've driven by this place 5,000 times on the highway, and I've always kind of wanted to know what goes on in here, and now we're here. So they have a beautiful South Fork, kids won't know, but the old folks will know, South Fork feel to it from the show Dallas. And there wasn't just the players there. Nobody got on horses, thank God. But they played pool, they sang karaoke, they barbecued. One of the billets paid for keg burgers, which was unbelievable. But there was dads there, and I just want to give you a little can of Mississauga. You'll like this because you looked up our star second baseman, who I kind of feel like might be my illegitimate son, Ben Wolochuk. We get each other. From Wichita, Kansas. His dad, Lonnie, was there, and it was you, Ken, in Mississauga, that looked up that Lonnie is a PBA legend, Professional Bowling Association, like we used to watch on TSN. Well, he was there yesterday, and of course, I hang with the dads now, not the players. So Lonnie's like, oh, yeah, I know you said on the show that, or it was during a game, that I'm not a goat. He goes, I've won 2 PBA bowling tournaments, 2 on the Pro Tour. That doesn't make me a goat. And I'm like, it's more than I have. As far as I'm concerned, that's bigger in McCracken territory. And we had a lot of fun. Oh, Ken, you got that. He says, yeah, the most ever viewings. But then they go fire everybody. Who's running these places? Arlen Bruce writes in, AB, he says, great day, RP. In the IFL last night, Major Indoor Football League, my son, Arlen Bruce IV, number 10, Arizona Rattlers, had 3 touchdowns, over 100 yards receiving with the win. I love that you are your son's PR director, which reminds me, as I'm sitting with the parents last night, because Kip Ransom, I sat with him from Lincoln, Nebraska. I was like, what are we going to talk to these guys about all night? Ask them about their kids. And we're good. And then I won't have to say anything. But it was fun. Because Lonnie Wolochuk, the PBA GOAT, as far as I'm concerned, he's like, that mental health thing that you do and with the athletes in the middle, that is fascinating. I said, yes, it is. And let me tell you what Janice is doing. It's next level stuff from what I'm doing. He was like, oh, we just had a great time. I love the people. I love the games. That's why I do it. If you know, you know. Glenn in Medicine Hat writes in, he says, weird stat. Funny how in the round of 16 at the World Cup, the teams that have given up the most goals are the host teams. Canada, Mexico, and USA. He says, can you imagine the result if Morocco had 11 corner kicks against Canada? I don't even want to imagine a world where Morocco gets 11 corner kicks. I don't even know what the hell that means. Thank God it's over. 902-518-3033. Marc Trestman next hour. He's got a new book out called Teaching the Game with the foreword by Tony Dungy and Steve Young. Tress slid into our DMs and said, can I get on to talk about the book? I'm like, absolutely. So get your questions ready. NFL. I got a lot of friends that are Chicago Bears fans. Like, you got Trestman on? Yep. Coming up next hour, stick around, everybody. We'll be right back here on the RP Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
How about that?
As the cool kids say, let's go! Welcome to the RP Show, everybody, on a Tuesday, episode number 1771. Welcoming the viewers across Nevada on Silver State Sports and saying hello again to those tuned in on Game Plus, streaming across Canada, 33 U.S. states, and WQVZ radio across the U.S. South. Hi, I'm your host, RP, and gather around, everybody, gather. It's a big day. Perfect timing. Marc Trestman joining us coming up in the next segment, brought to you by Prairie Panels, former offensive coordinator of the Oakland Raiders, and he's been good enough to share some time with us today to talk about his latest book, which I can't wait to talk to him about, Teaching the Game, forward by Tony Dungy and Steve Young. Yes, Marc Trestman coming up next from Naples, Florida. About the author, I kind of like how he's got him. They got him in a Raiders uniform or outfit. Marc Trestman is a highly accomplished football coach with 25 years of NFL experience as a head coach, offensive coordinator, and quarterback coach. He also was a head coach for 7 years in the Canadian Football League, where his teams won 3 Grey Cups in 4 appearances, earning him Coach of the Year twice. That's where we met, became good friends, stayed in touch, and here we are today. As Cactus Jack would say, and it all turned out nice again. John Harbaugh, the head coach of the New York Football Giants, had this to say about the book, Teaching the Game. This book is a must-read for coaches, leaders, and teachers of any kind. It was written by one of the game's great coaches. Okay, are you impressed yet? Marc Trestman coming up in the next segment again for Prairie Panels. But getting down to business, we're going to have our usual amount of fun here, and we'll have fun with Coach Trestman too. But point one of the Quick Six Show topics presented by our friends at Uniglobe Carefree Travel, the official travel partner of the RP Show, and the CFL's BC Lions World Cup. American hopes for, I didn't write this. This shouldn't surprise you. American hopes for a deep World Cup run at home ended when Charles de Ketelaere scored twice and assisted on another goal, helping Belgium expose the U.S. defensive liabilities in a 4-1 win Monday night that earned a quarterfinal berth. While the U.S. was boosted by the presence of star forward Folarin Balogun, whose one-game red card suspension was controversially lifted by FIFA, American defenders were at fault in a pair of first-half goals, and Fries's howler gave the Red Devils a third early in the second half. Okay, look, I can't. So I hosted a live stream with the European Crypto Casino BC. It was all great. We had fun. We had huge viewers for it. We had fun watching. I don't know anything about it. So I just got to say this now. U.S. is out. Canada's out. I'm off the World Cup train, and I've enjoyed the hype. I've enjoyed the fans. We can all agree from a security aspect, and this will continue until it's all over. Everything's gone smoothly. In the States, everybody's welcoming the world, and Canada too. The last game of that they're going to have in Canada is being played today in this round of Switzerland versus Colombia in the round of 6. That's all been fun. But I'd rather talk about the stuff that I know. And I do get a kick out of the social media thing, all these people that are soccer experts and who played how many minutes. As far as I'm concerned, it's done. And it's funny because I was saying earlier, last hour, for the people that were tuned in on Game Plus streaming, I had my friend Kirby writing in from the Cats and Rats podcast, Florida Panthers podcast, and he was just loving the Sergei Bobrovsky talk. The very brief amount of Sergei Bobrovsky talk we talked about in hour one, signing with the Toronto Maple Leafs, because the hockey fans in America and even in Canada right now are just scrapping for any possible shred of information they can get, because people, they're not talking about their teams. Everybody's talking about the World Cup. I feel like we've talked about it enough. The Quick Six Show topics are brought to you by Uniglobe Carefree Travel Group. I might as well say it now. Score a touchdown in the Caribbean. Join CFL legend Adam Bighill and Saskatchewan Roughriders linebacker Jameer Thurman, plus 2 new additions. Winnipeg Blue Bombers D lineman Jake Serezna and Willie Jefferson on a 7-day cruise departing out of Fort Lauderdale February 20th. A once-in-a-lifetime experience for CFL fans. Get out of the cold. Come on down and join us in the South. Prices from $18.99, cruise only. We got to get these things sold. Contact Neil Chark at Uniglobe Travel, Neil at uniglobecarefree.ca. Point 2 of the Quick Six. Well, that's the thing. Helio Ramos homered twice and drove in 5 runs to back Landon Roop's first win in more than 2 months, and the San Francisco Giants beat the Toronto Blue Jays 10-1 on Monday night. The Blue Jays didn't get a hit until Ernie Clement singled in the third inning. Jays starter Kevin Gausman, an all-star with the Giants back in 2021, allowed 7 runs in 5 1/3 innings. Gausman walked 5 with 8 strikeouts. I will say this. I'm not denigrating any of the summer sports, but I'm a huge CFL guy, and I guarantee you Coach Trestman's watching all the games just like I am. But I'm keeping an eye on everything because for those that didn't hear us, that weren't part of the Hour 1 discussion, I'm broadcasting NCAA baseball in the Summer League, in the Western Canadian Baseball League. And I will say this, we had a team bonding session yesterday at a place called Freedom Stables. I was a little leery. I got a late invite because the coaches say Rod's got to be there. I wasn't doing anything. I'm like, don't ask me to go on a horse, and I sure hope they don't put any players on horses. We get there and find out these are $300,000 equestrian Olympic-level show horses, or equestrian horses. They didn't let us near them. But 60% of our rosters, it's a Canadian thing. You don't understand, but that's okay. 60% of our rosters are Americans, even in this baseball league. So all the kids were like, we got to wrap this up to go watch the U.S. men's national team, the soccer game. Are you going to watch, Rod? Of course you're watching, Rod, right? I wasn't watching. I went for supper with friends. But then I went home, and I turned on the Blue Jays game, and they're just getting bombed. Like I said, 10-1 of the Giants. The highlight of that game was the fact that they were playing San Francisco in an interleague set, and any game in San Francisco is amazing. But other than that, the Blue Jays stink. And actually, coming up later on in the sports update, well, the MLB rosters the All-Star rosters were announced on Saturday. There's a lot of Blue Jays on there, and people can't figure out why. And actually, Kirk in Toronto wrote in here earlier and said, does John Schneider, the manager, have anything to worry about? I don't really want to get into that. I don't like talking about guys' jobs when they have them or who their possible replacements would be especially. But it is weird because I was talking to Moose DuPont this morning, and why are we talking about the Blue Jays on Nevada television? Because it's still a Canadian show by name, and the Blue Jays are my team, and I kind of think that they always will be. But I was talking to Moose this morning. He's in Toronto, the former co-host of this show, and he said that he had family come into town. They were looking up Jays tickets. Cheapest ticket is $100, where you can get a Marlins ticket in Miami, where I spend most of my time, for $9. Now it's $100 minimum, but the Marlins suck. Blue Jays went to the World Series. You know what that happens? Prices go through the roof, and then the team sucks. I don't think they're going to fire John Schneider. You're asking me if no. What a business. You go to Game 7 of the World Series, and I don't think it was John Schneider's fault that they blew another game in the 9th inning in Game 7 of the World Series, but here they are. Hadn't scored a run in, 21 innings? There's my Blue Jays rant. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. By the way, we do this every week, our Canadian Football League picks in both hours, the Canadian Hour 1, the U.S. Hour and Hour 2, because, as Chris Strevler, the former Arizona Cardinals and Winnipeg Blue Bombers quarterback, said the other day, there's no other football going on. With all due apologies, Arlen Bruce III, to the Major Indoor Football League. Yeah, they're playing and they're lighting it up, but outdoor football isn't happening right now. So as Chris Strevler is saying, why don't he's telling all his friends in the States, tune on CFL Plus or the odd game on CBS Sports Network. They had the Sunday night game, Hamilton-Winnipeg, when Levi Mitchell, I believe, broke his ankle. Point being, we do the picks. Watch the games. You'll love them. So this is it. Thursday night, the Ottawa Red Blacks. Yes, that's their name. The Ottawa Red Blacks at the Edmonton Elks. Scruffy was with me in Hour 1. We both picked Edmonton to win the game. It's for Pump Jack's Steakhouse and Saloon. That's the biggest reason why I'm throwing it in here. Our sports watching headquarters in the summer. Pump Jack's Cathedral, Pump Jack's Weyburn. Come early, stay late at the place where friends meet. Thursday, Edmonton will beat Ottawa. Everybody beats Ottawa. Friday, the Toronto Argonauts, North America's oldest pro team, plays at Winnipeg. There's some intrigue there. Jim Kelly's nephew, Chad Kelly, is a leading passer in the Canadian Football League. Winnipeg's starting quarterback is, do we even know, is Zach out? Zach Caleros, the teammate of Travis Kelce's. at the University of Cincinnati was injured in that game Sunday night. Anyways, Scruffy and I both took Toronto to win at Winnipeg. By the way, I mentioned, was it this hour or last? I think it was this hour, about Marc Trestman coaching 7 seasons in the CFL, won a Grey Cup with both Montreal and Toronto. I know Mark's watching right now, but I'm not the guy that's going to say, who did you like coaching better, Montreal or Toronto? That's not even a fair question, in that Mark would say, I love coaching both. So you can get ready for this, Mark. What did you like about coaching in both markets of Montreal and Toronto in the Canadian Football League? Because they're both very special cities. And by the way, Mark's got to go into the Canadian Football Hall of Fame. I mean, there's been a lot of, it's a small league. There's been a lot of coaches win Grey Cup championships with 2 or more franchise, but not a lot. It's not a common thing. But he's not the only one, but it's pretty cool to do that. Oh, by the way, as I roll along here, point 1 of the Quick 6 show topics was World Cup. Point 2, Blue Jays. Point 3, Canadian Football League. As I roll through my script here, the poll question is for Country Thunder. Big outdoor country music festival. 40,000. Thank you, producer Corey. 40,000 generally will be on hand. I haven't been out there in 11 years, but I'm going this weekend, and I can't wait. The biggest party this summer is coming to Craven, Saskatchewan, July 9th to the 12th, featuring Lainey Wilson and Creed. Get your tickets now at countrythunder.com/SK. Just $20 down secures your weekend pass. That just reminded me, Rod, you didn't finish your picks, dummy. Edmonton over Ottawa, Toronto over Winnipeg, Montreal to beat Calgary in a rematch of the 2008 Grey Cup. That's the only one that Mark lost, right, Mark? We probably won't talk about that. We got Montreal to win it Saturday. And then Sunday, I will be at Country Thunder and joining Lainey Wilson, the star of Yellowstone, while the Saskatchewan Roughriders are having their way with the Hamilton Tiger. And I'm sorry, but they are going to at Mosaic Stadium on Sunday. So that's the picks for Pump Jacks. The poll question for Country Thunder is, Corey already put the logo up, and he did it again. How about that? Do you believe in sports gods? Reason being, I know we're going all ADD here right now, but it is 1:11 Eastern. 1:11. If you're into that, if you celebrate, imagine a positive outcome. It's called visualization. People have been doing it for years, but just imagine a positive outcome to your current quagmire and then live there. Live to feel it. Let everybody catch up. It actually works. I've done it multiple times. Anyways, the poll question is, do you believe in sports gods? Because I just got a bang out of the fact that Donald Trump would pick up the phone and call the president of FIFA, Gianni Infantino, and say, hey, we got a problem here. You suspended our our leading scorer for the game Monday. So, yeah, can you maybe reverse that? And then he did. Everybody loses their minds. So he plays, and then they get shut out 3-0. Or, sorry, no, they lost 4-1. Whatever. Bollergen didn't score. Canada lost 3-0. USA lost 4-1 to Belgium. And I'm just sitting there. I didn't watch the game. I was out for supper with friends at the Mad Greek restaurant, another sponsor of the RP show. They don't even have a TV on in there. We need to talk to the Mad Greek about that, Johnny. But when I saw the score 4-1, I was like, there's the soccer gods, which I didn't even know there were soccer gods. I mean, I know of football gods and hockey gods, and I've seen baseball gods, what's carrying a ball out. But soccer gods, they struck. I mean, all this conjecture and what I read in the USA Today on Monday about the USA players, even if they win this game, they lose, and they'll be ashamed because Trump won it for them. Should have your accreditation pulled for writing that nonsense. But they lost anyways, so it doesn't matter. I don't know where Jason and Red Deer isn't here today. He normally updates us on the poll results, but the last I looked, 100% of respondents said they believe in sports gods. I clearly believe in sports gods. I know that angers a lot of the religious people, but I don't care. I'm a God person too. God's too busy dealing with world problems and our personal problems. Right. Producer Corey goes, everything offends them. I am a God person. He's too busy to deal with sports, so he has subcommittees of hockey gods and football gods and baseball gods and soccer gods. It's just very fun to watch how they decide the results of games, because quite often they do. That's what I feel. BW from Edmonton says, good day. The Blue Jays have to earn the money to pay the rest of the 25% to own 100% of MLSE. That is such a Toronto thing. BW, you're from Edmonton. I'll say this, everybody's getting wound up about the phone company Rogers buying out the rest of the owners of the Blue Jays and the Leafs and the Rats. I don't care. I literally don't care. I just want to watch the games. I don't care how much Rogers owns or Bell owned or Larry Tannenbaum. Can we just watch the games? That's where I'm at. There's enough Toronto shows that you can sit and they care about that. I do not. What I know is the Blue Jays suck. The Leafs will. And I've got the Argos picked to win at Winnipeg on Friday. Okay, thank you, Vancouver Eric. He says 69% say yes, there are sports gods. I would say 69% are correct. We'll be back in a moment with Marc Trestman. Get your questions ready. 902-518-3033. Get them in on the Western Dodge text line. We'll be right back on the RP Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live. Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It is the RP Show. Time for the guest segment, proudly presented by our friends at Prairie Panels. Check them out at prairiepanels.ca. We read his bio earlier. It's a Hall of Fame one. There he is, Coach Marc Trestman joining us. Where are you at, Naples, Coach?
I'm in Naples, Florida, and where are you?
I am in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, Canada, 40 miles from Regina. It's a great summer.
Spend the sun. Great summer.
I'm loving it. I say to my Florida friends, I'm like, I miss you. They're like, don't. You're better off where you're at. It's pretty hot down there, I know, Coach. How are you keeping busy in the dog days other than promoting your new book, Teaching the Game?
First of all, it's great to be with you, Rod.
Thanks.
Nobody loves football any more in Canada than you do, and the Canadian Football League. So we've known each other a long time. So it's always a privilege to hang out with you for a little while. Thanks for having me on.
Well, thank you, Coach. I can't wait to get my hands on the book because congratulations, by the way. I know the feeling to get that book out of the box. There's no easy way to write a book. Your first one, Perseverance, I read at least a couple of times. There you go, man. Let's start there because you should. You're so proud of this. And I love the tributes, the forward by Tony Dungy and Steve Young. I saw what John Harbaugh had to say about it. You tell us about it, please.
Well, when I basically retired a year ago, March in 2025, after being with the Chargers, and to make a, long story short, I was ready to retire, but I wanted to give something back to a game that's given me everything, and it all really started in 2024. I visited Jim Harbaugh at the University of Michigan, and they had every night at the team meeting they would have a session called Teach the Game. And it would be the whole football organization would be in the room, and there'd be some aspect of football that would be talked about that brought the team closer together, that showed the interconnection and how everybody was interrelated in the game and how everybody mattered. It was fun. It was incredibly interesting, and everybody, no matter how long you're in the game, you continue to learn the game. And when I got to LA, Jim asked me to organize those meetings. And as I was putting the organization of the meeting together, I said to Jim, there's really a book here. And so when I left the game a year ago, March, I said, I'm gonna give back to the game everything I've learned from every coach, every player, every general manager. I'm gonna put it down on paper. And 18 months later, 652 pages later, as you can see here, I don't know which screen you're using. I'm really proud to say that there's a book out that can teach the game to an NFL coach, a college coach, a high school coach, players at all levels, and a fan who wants to learn more about the game. And just to finish up, I started with the quarterback because I don't think there's any more important position, and regardless of what aspect of football you're involved with as a coach or a player, everybody has to see it through the eyes of the quarterback. So go ahead, and I'll just, it starts there and then ends with a leadership chapter, which is really a composite of the course I teach at the University of Miami Law School.
I will drive to Naples to get a copy of this book, Mark. I can't wait to get my hands on it. But the thing that I read was The Fan, and you brought it up yourself, because there are books out there about terminology. I was with a guy last week. He goes, I'm going to write a book about terminology. I said, well, that would be cool, but I get a sense this is deeper than that for the fan to read. It's not just about terminology if they're going to watch a game on TV.
No.
You get it right. Can you explain that?
Right. Yeah, I can. First of all, since you brought it up, my website is teachingthegame.com. The book is pre-ordered for Amazon. Next week, it'll be able to order it on Coach's Choice in about 10 days on Amazon. The book will be actually out. But what I did is I just wanted to the fan to see what it feels like, number one, to stand behind the quarterback and see how hard it is. I talk about things like the week and the preparation week in the life of the quarterback, 40 seconds between each play. And then I get into all the special situations that are involved in football and a lot of the nuances of there's every situation in football comes up. And I did want to caveat that it's not a CFL rule book. It's really based for the national game of football and what's become an international game of the NFL game. But 250 pages are on the quarterback. There's a leadership chapter of almost 50 pages. And there's a number of things that if the NFL fan, and there's a bunch of them in Canada as well, can learn more about the game, south of the border. And that's, as you well know, you may love the CFL game, but you don't love it any more than I do. It was very good to me. It was some of my greatest joys in the game were north of the border in Canada. And I have as you know, I have a love for the game.
I know it changed your life when you came to Canada, and it was so awesome. We were so grateful that you did. You changed the league too, which you wouldn't take any credit for, but you did. But here's the thing. You get this great moniker as the quarterback whisperer, but you were a DB for the Vikings, right?
Well, I was in camp with them as a DB. A DB twice, and I think what that did was frankly, it gave me a better understanding of offensive football. So I could not only see it from an offensive side, but I understood from the defensive side. So I had some really good 2 years, 2 training camps, so to speak, which amounts to about 12 weeks of learning defense, which was, part of the course to become a better football coach.
Well, that's the thing. I'm clearly not saying. I mean, were you a quarterback in college? I thought you were always a DB.
No, I was a quarterback all through high school. I played both ways in high school. Was a renowned backup quarterback to Tony Dungy at the University of Minnesota. And then when I I signed with the Vikings as a free agent as defensive back.
That makes a heck of a lot more sense. It's like Mark Mueller coming out of Canadian University, Ron Lancaster's grandson. His first job was coaching linebackers with the Stampeders. But that obviously gave you a whole new perspective.
Absolutely.
Yeah. If you don't mind answering some viewers' questions, Coach Trestman, Will from Steinbach, Manitoba writes in, and he says, Coach, which CFL players could have made the NFL according to Mark?
Well, that's a great question. I would leave people out. I start probably with the quarterbacks, and I'm adamant about Ricky Ray and Anthony Calvillo if they were in the right place at the right time. I was really, really sorry to see Bo Levi get injured the other day. I think he would be an interesting guy as well. And of the young group, I really thought if Nathan Rourke got to the right place at the right time, he could evolve into being an NFL quarterback. And the time's not out. Every quarterback's on their own journey. But I love what Ricky Ray and Anthony did. They made a life and a career in the CFL, incredible careers by both. And one of the great fortunes I've had in all my life is to be able to go to work every day and spend time with guys that are not only phenomenal quarterbacks, they were incredible leaders, incredible fathers and husbands, elite human beings at every level. But and we had some guys in Montreal, S.J. Green, Jamal Richardson, Ben Cahoon. I mean, they were all, Kerry Watkins, they were all capable of playing in the NFL. The difference between the CFL player and NFL player is, as I've always said, is razor thin. It's credit card thin. It takes the right break at the right time in the right place. And what the guys I coach are so proud of, they were proud to make their career in the CFL, and they made it exciting for fans week in and week out.
Well, Doug Flutie famously said, it was in a football life, he said, I never won a Super Bowl, but I can't imagine it felt any better than winning a Grey Cup. And I think about those Grey Cups that you were in, all of them, but Olympic Stadium, Montreal, 63,000 against Calgary in 08, and then the ones against us were outdoors, cold. But, Mark, it's competition.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it wasn't windy the nights we played in Calgary and Saskatchewan, which really helped us. It was cold, but it wasn't windy, and that created an advantage for both teams, offensively anyways.
Yeah, no, well, listen, there was a debate raging last hour before you joined about the 09 Grey Cup. And you never told me this, but your staff has told me that it kind of irked you a little bit that people felt that the Riders gave that away, that you felt you earned it, which I feel you earned it. And the viewers are saying, yeah, you came back from 16 points down in the fourth quarter. Damn rights that you earned it. But that doesn't keep you up at night, I would hope. You won. How much do you think about that?
No, I guess what I do is when I think about winning championships, and I always say this to our teams, the first thing that we should be thankful for is the team we played against, because they brought out the best in us. And I think that's something competition is there's a Latin word competere, which means striving together, and you can't be at your best unless your competition is at their best. And so I take a lot of pride in the wins. Our loss in Montreal was very hurtful. I felt personally I didn't coach the game I could have coached. And credit to the Stampeders for the win, obviously. But I look back, and the regret that I have is I didn't do my best coaching job. But as far as the wins go, I think we earned every win. No one play really determines the course of a game. It may look like that from the outside, but it doesn't. Every play matters and is significantly, directly or indirectly related to the next one. And it worked out great for us. We got from a lucky break a little bit at the end, but we took advantage of it.
The 08 was your first year in the league, correct?
It was.
Right. Were you not still did you have a full grasp of the league by the end of that season?
I didn't have a full grasp of the league after year 5. I mean, the rules of the game are ridiculously thought out, and I mean, as I've always said, I mean, if it wasn't for Anthony and Ben, they really taught me the game in year 1. And I always went to them for questions that I had on the sideline during crunch times. I always kept somebody close. And, one of the things I liked to was verbalize how I was going to make the decision so people could hear my thinking. And the feedback was incredibly important to our success early on and really throughout my career.
Well, I'll tell you, the beautiful thing about this show is we weave back and forth between NFL, CFL, and college when it starts. And you can talk that too, obviously, because you're intimately involved. George Cortez, dear friend of mine down there in Houston, we've talked about, he says football's football. Do you agree with him in terms of just coaching the young players?
Yeah. Well, absolutely. I mean, the players that I coached in the CFL were the same players I coached at the NFL level. Hardworking, humble, love the game, love to practice. I mean, the good ones, love to practice, love the itinerary. But football is football. And the book discusses that. I mean, everybody has to learn how to secure the ball, how to disrupt the ball, how to block, destruct, how to run to the football. All that stuff is incredibly important. And so the fundamentals are similar. They're exactly the same at every level. And they have to be taught and they have to be drilled, because the fundamentals, I can't speak for George, but I can say that the fundamentals of the game are the same. Where if it's tackle football, the fundamentals are the same.
The book is Teaching the Game. Use promo code GAME20 to get 20% off, teachingthegame.com. Can they get their orders in now, Mark?
They can pre-order on Amazon. And I think Coach's Choice, which is my publisher, next week they'll be able to order off Coach's Choice. And then the following week they'll be ordered directly from Amazon. But they can pre-order on Amazon right now. Either go to the website or go to teachingthegame.com, and that would be the place to pre-order.
Well, as we're talking, my mind's going, you said it's ideal for players, ideal for coaches, ideal for a fan. What about a parent? Because I see this now. I'm involved at the high school level. I go to these free agent camps and I see the desperation on the parents' face. They want their kid to advance to the next level. What would be? There's got to be something in there for the parents. They would get a lot of this.
I think that if you like football, there's a lot in this book for all of you, from the quarterback to the nuances of the game to special situations. And one of the chapters I'm maybe most proud of is the leadership chapter, because it is, as I said, a compilation of the course I teach at the University of Miami Law School. And in it is some great learning for coaches, for business leaders, and certainly for parents who want to, have an idea how to direct their kids from a leadership standpoint. Because this new world we live in, I can probably, close with this, Rod, is, this world is completely interdependent and interrelated now. And everybody's an influencer. If you can press send on your phone, you now influence. You can inspire. And influence and inspiration is really what leadership is. It comes from the inside. It comes from the heart. And it's designed to, help and serve others. And so there's some great teaching lessons in the leadership chapter. So you can't really love the game unless you know the quarterback position. And I said I spent a lot of time on the nuances of the job of a quarterback, how he's taught, and then it just moves on to a lot of unique situations that you wouldn't even think about. The middle eight, chaos and confusion, momentum. I mean, a lot of that's talked about throughout the book, and I'm just really proud of it. But I'm also thankful and grateful because I didn't do it alone. I did it with hundreds of coaches and players who taught me the game.
Teachingthegame.com is the website. Again, you use promo code GAME20. You're speaking my language now, Coach. We say this all the time in the mental health world. Just be kind. It ain't that hard.
Yeah.
And show respect.
I sign all my letters, lead with love. You know, we're not talking about love as an emotion. We're talking about love as I got your back. I'll lift you up when you're on the ground. I used to always tell the players, when you come to the sideline, you're never going to meet the enemy. You're never going to see the coach making it about him, making himself right and the player wrong. We got your back. It's a brotherhood, and that could be a sisterhood. It's just the brotherhood's a term, but it's a peoplehood. I mean, that's what we are. We're a peoplehood, and if we lead with love, if we lead with kindness, everybody's walking in the door every day in a football locker room carrying a lot of baggage on their shoulders, and that's whether it's a football locker room or a business office. They're carrying something, and what we're asking them to do is to put it aside and do what's best interest of the team and the business, and that's not always easy to do. But if they know you care about them, if they know you listen, if you know they're heard and they're loved, they'll give you your best, and that's how you create peer-to-peer accountability in an organization anyways.
It's the highest vibration in the world. Is that?
That's it.
I think we've sold some books here today, Coach. We only got a couple minutes. We're airing in Las Vegas and Nevada. How would you handle Fernando Mendoza in year one? Yeah, 2 minutes exactly.
How would I handle him? This is a football. We'd start with this is a football. And it's all, football's the ultimate people business. It's not, I always say we're not in the football business. We're ultimate people business of football. It's the relationship business. So, it starts with, trust in the meeting room. The meeting room, and I talk about this in the book, the quarterback meeting room is the most important meeting room in the sports world. It's a marriage between the quarterback and the people that have the privilege of being in the room. And it's really a privilege to be in the quarterback room. So two things have to happen early on. There's got to be competency-based trust, and there's got to be vulnerability-based trust. So competency means Fernando's going to believe that the coaches in the room can allow him to be the best he can be. And then vulnerability-based trust is the most important kind of trust because it's what leadership is most connected to, and that is it's a horizontal hierarchy, and that is that people are equal until somebody's got to have the 51% rule. So it starts with trust, and and everything really transcends from there. Quarterbacks have to love the game. The coach has to love the game. He can't be an imposter. He's got to go into that room every day and be able to stimulate him and let him know that he's going to prepare him to the highest level. And the quarterback's going to want it. So that's a starting point. It's all in the book. It's all in the book.
I got you. They're cutting us off. All of Miami's pulling for Fernando, except for week one because the Raiders are playing the Dolphins. I don't know if he'll be in under center or not. But Coach, thanks. Could we do it again soon? It goes by far too fast.
You know I'm your guy, Rod. Whenever you need somebody to spend some time with you, I'll be here for you.
Appreciate you. Thanks, Coach, and good luck. Teaching the Game. You can order yours at teachingthegame.com. We'll be right back on Silver State Sports and Game Plus streaming.
For a night of rock with the Gene Simmons Band.
You know your man is working hard. He's worth a team.
Saturday, December 5th, Temple Garden Center.
Now.
The Gene Simmons Band performing your favorite classic hits. Tickets on sale now at sasktix.ca. Don't miss the Gene Simmons Band.
Get ready to make unforgettable memories with your little ones at Elmo's Got the Moves, the all-new Sesame Street live show coming to your neighborhood. Friday, December 4th, Temple Garden Center. Tickets on sale now at Sask Tigs.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
All right, welcome back, everybody. I could sit here for 20 minutes and read your comments on that interview, and that would please me just fine. Marc Trestman. I guess I was going to say I never asked him about the Raiders. We did with Fernando Mendoza. Just ran out of time. Offensive coordinator on John Gruden 1.0 staff with the Raiders. Vancouver Eric writes in, he says, another great guest, RP, the reason we watch. I'm just grateful for Mark. I don't know why he always liked me, but I'm grateful that he does. Teachingthegame.com is the website. It's set up now. You can order your book. Promo code GAME20 gets you 20% off. Ted in Red Deer says, definitely going to get a copy of this book. 100%. Mark sent me his last one, Perseverance. I read it at least twice. Severely impacted my life in a positive way. That's what the guy does. John writes in, he's a Rider fan. He says, Mark rocks, even if he beat the Green Riders. Yes, Rod, the Riders lost that 13th man game way before the famous penalty. Kudos, Montreal. I'll tell you what, I know it's like speaking another language to the U.S. viewers when we talk CFL stuff, but my current financial planner was a linebacker on that Saskatchewan team by the name of Mike McCullough, one of the most highly intelligent men I've ever met in my life. And we sit around a lot, and we talked about those games, and Mike always says, oh, Rod, you always say God's a Rider fan. Well, he wasn't there on November 29th, 2009, or whatever the date was. Or Mike goes, don't ever say the game's not over till the zeros hit the clock. We lost the game after the clock hit zero. 2009 Grey Cup. Yeah, I can tell you, being here in the rectangle, that comes up every single day. It does. It's like when I'm in Calgary, the 2004 Stanley Cup Final comes up every single day. It's hard to believe, but it does. Take my word for it. Kirk in Toronto writes in. He says, hey, Rod, met Mr. Trestman at an Argos meet and greet at the Queen Elizabeth building on the famed C&E grounds when he was hired as head coach. A class gentleman. Thank you for your time in Double Blue. I should have read that to Mark. Maybe he's still watching. I'm not sure. He logged in at the start of the hour. Wayne in BC writes in. He says, Coach Trestman is obviously a great man and wonderful coach. He used people around him to help him in the early stages of his CFL career. Well, the smart people would do that. I'd like to think. If you're the smartest guy in the room, you're in the wrong room, as my friend Mydale Mike says. John says God takes breaks too. I don't know about that, but I don't think he does. Okay. I'm sorry. There was some comments in here earlier about the baseball team for which I'm broadcasting the games, and I gotta get mixed up between hour 1 or hour 2 when we were talking about this. But Lonnie Wolochek, his kid, is the star second baseman for our ball club, and I was with him last night, and he goes, "Rod, you say that I'm a PBA bowling legend. I'm not. I only won 2 tournaments on the PBA tour." I'm like, 2 more than I did. You're a legend to me. Ken in Mississauga looked him up. He says, Lonnie Wolochek's bowling is on YouTube. He won over $500,000 in his career. Cool, you know the family. Well, I've said this, and I'm old enough now. I don't really care what people think, clearly. And I say these on the broadcast. I said the parents are far more interesting than the players. Jimmy Kurtz, our star left fielder from Atlantic City, New Jersey, his dad, Jim Kurtz Sr., is the head of entertainment, director of entertainment at Harrah's in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Can I interview you? Vancouver Eric says the league needs more Marc Trestmans. Well, I think Mark's 69, turning 70 this year. I'm right around there. The last time I talked to Mark, I said, "Are you retired?" He's like, "Well, not yet." That was last fall. Somebody might call. That's the way the football coach, I think they could still, Mark would take the call. Even though he's saying he's retired, I feel like he would take the call. I apologize. Somebody wrote in here just about my love for these young men on the baseball team and how evident it is. And I wanted to read it because it was nice. I don't know where it went. How much time is in the segment, Producer Corey? If you don't mind me asking. Okay. We'll wrap this all up when we come back in overtime and also do a sports update. It's the RP Show on Silver State Sports, WQVZ.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too. Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge, big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca.
Welcome back, everybody. It's overtime for our friends at Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary, and I love when our sponsors intersect. I see Prairie Panels now is advertising that you can build your own hockey shooting lanes, and they'll handle it for you. Check them out on Facebook at Prairie Panels or their website, prairiepanels.ca. Or you can just go down to Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary, spend $20 an hour, bing, 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 and shoot pucks until your heart's content. And I've done that. I would not steer you wrong at all. 28th Street Northeast, Calgary. They always got something new and exciting going on there. Plus a licensed bar for the parents. Check them out and thank me later. So Jeff the Stamps fan writes in, it's been another dark day across the media. Repeat. He says, Sportsnet 960 in Calgary is closing. That is the Calgary Flames broadcaster. I'm not laughing at them closing the doors. I'm laughing at, it's going to be something on the airwaves there. Like in Winnipeg, when they closed the all sports radio station, they started running stand-up comedy all day. For a lot of years, those were the Bomber games. I get that everybody's writing in about this, but I mean, I've been through it. There weren't a lot of people lining up at my door offering their sympathies, so we wish them well. I don't know what the hell they're going to do. How about that? I found the text message, by the way. It came in on the text line for Western Dodge, 902-518-3033. Drive with confidence. Shop Western Dodge. Financing, selection, and service you can count on. It came from David number 2 in Winnipeg. He says, hey, Rod, I love that you have become so attached and passionate about the Moose Jaw Millers. Though it's not close to the majors, I'm sure it still means a lot to those young men. You are helping create memories and friendships that will last a lifetime. Bravo, Rod. Well, a couple things on that. I would like to think that I'm not attached to them because that's not good, but you're not wrong either. I'm trying to work on that. I've always been so close to the players and coaches, as you see, because they all come on the show now. I'm trying to cure myself of that. But the other thing about them not being close to the majors, this is NCAA athletes. You have to have been registered in a spring semester in post-secondary education to be eligible to play in this league. So these are the elite athletes. And we're talking about it yesterday at our team bonding session. Carter Beck is like going into infamy. The former Saskatoon Berry is expected, will be called in the MLB draft here this month as high as the second round. So these guys are at the elite top end of their level of baseball in Canada and USA. And what people often say to me, why do you love these guys so much? They're young men. They're not teens, which I got annoyed with the junior hockey. It's why I'm not doing it. I couldn't. And with the pros, I love that. But they're married, they got kids, and these guys are the in-between. Young men, not married, no kids, but mature enough, and the ball is fantastic. So that's the answer to that. And as I often say, yeah, they're getting some out of it, but I'm getting more out of it. How about that? 902-518-3033. Matt DeBuck's going to be with us tomorrow talking about all ball for all. Wayne in BC writes in, he says, another awesome interview, Rod. I expect nothing but the best from you. Well, don't get your expectations too high of me, Wayne. You're surely to be disappointed. Sorry to call you Shirley. Yes, we're playing tonight, Monty. We have a doubleheader tonight at the Ross. Your sports update. Again, I didn't read this. Despite showering in the glory of topping the group and winning a knockout game in front of an adoring and electric home crowd, the U.S. journey ended in the same place as it did in the last 3 attempts. The round of 16. A calamitous American defensive performance, marred with a mostly toothless attack, granted Belgium a 4-1 win on Monday in Seattle, sending the Red Devils into the quarterfinals and relegating the red card drama of the previous 36 hours to a historical footnote. I will say this about soccer. They have some of the best writers and media covering it. And I get that it's the world's game, and in the highest level, you should attract the greatest writers and reporters covering it. That's just regal. I'm glad it's over. Although Argentina's Lionel Messi, France's Kylian Mbappe, and Norway's Erling Haaland are tied for the lead with 7 goals each at the World Cup. I'm still following that, and I'm loving the sensations. I mean, Messi was all along, and Mbappe too. I didn't know who this Norwegian guy was, Haaland, but I'm seeing him. He sent out a tweet the other day that had 70 million views. I don't care who you are. That's big-time stuff. But I still like what we got going on here. The rosters for the 96th MLB All-Star Game were revealed on Saturday ahead of the Midsummer Classic, which will take place at Philadelphia Citizens Bank Park a week from today. It's all cool to have the new sports. Let's not forget about the OGs. The reserves and pitchers were also announced on Saturday, yielding a crop of 65 All-Stars who got the nod for next week's game. You want a team-by-team breakdown? I'm glad you asked. The Dodgers, Braves, and Phillies led the way with 5 All-Stars each, followed by the Yankees with 4. Rays, Blue Jays also with 4. Guardians and Tigers each with 3. Mike Trout leads all players with 12 All-Star nods, followed by Freddie Freeman with 10, and Chris Sale with 10, Aroldis Chapman with 9. Same story with Bryce Harper and Aaron Judge. Tuesday goes the MLB All-Star Game in Philadelphia, and I'm excited for it. It is fun to be able to follow multiple sports. Like I said, when your sport's not playing your number one, at least it gives you something to do. How we doing on time, producer Corey? Where are you at? The sports update is brought to you by the Ultimate Fan Zone. Don't just watch the game, live it. Gear up at Ultimate Fan Zone today. Jerseys, cards, collectibles, find it all at ultimatefanzone.ca. I never did hear what the time was. Okay. Tomorrow, Matt DeBuck will be with us in hour 2. It'll be just me solo, so get your questions and comments ready, everybody. We'll do it all again tomorrow on all these same stations and platforms. Thanks to you.
That